Hello, guys. Welcome back. Another episode of Count the Bucket. I'm your host, Amber Vickers. And today we got a good show for you. My co host cannot make it tonight, but he'll be back next week. Next week, he'll be back. Hopefully, Andrew has a crazy busy schedule. So I decided to hold it down for Count the Bucket tonight. And I got some NBA news for you. Last night's action, tonight's action. I'm going to preview that action tonight with the Celtics and the Lakers. We're going to also do a recap show for the Unwrapped Sports Network for that. What's going on around the league? We had two very, 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 very horrible deaths around the NBA community and the basketball community just in general. And, we got some news for you. So before I get started, I got to pay some bills. So check out our shop at teespring.com/store/unwrapped. Get all your unwrapped gear. Ladies First has gear. My personal show has gear. Every personal show has their own gear. Count the Bucket, we're actually working on our logo right now. So we're going to get some gear for Count the Bucket. I will wear it every show. Just like for Ladies First, I'm going to wear my gear on my show that I do on Thursday nights. Every live lineup has gear. So if you support one of those live lineup shows, go get you some gear. That is at teespring.com/stores/unwrapped. Also, mybookie.ag. Now, Alex and Corey just got done with Bets Unwrapped to show you how to win some money. We're gonna incorporate betting in the show as well because we want to show you guys how to win some money on the NBA side, player props and things like that. Check out mybookie.ag. Use the code USN100 to double your first deposit up to $1,000, guys. Also, sore achy muscles, rxhemp.com. Use the code rxhemp/USN to get 10% off of your order. It snowed in Vegas. It's 50 degrees and raining in LA. What the heck is going on the West Coast? You West Coast people, you're probably going to need you some CBD cream coming up here pretty soon because you're getting weather that we get in the Midwest, which is very, very odd. Okay, guys, let's get into this tonight's show. Last night's action, we had a lot of action last night. We got some good action tonight. And we got a surprise team, the Utah Jazz. Where the heck did the Utah Jazz come from? I think they're number one in the NBA in three-point shooting. Rudy Gobert, as much as I'm not going to say I don't despise Rudy Gobert. I think he's a very good player, two-time Defensive Player of the Year. You can't take that away from him. All-star appearances, all defensive teams cannot take that away from him. $205 million. I get why Utah had to do it. I will not bash Rudy Gobert on this show, but he's played well. He played well last night. No Donovan Mitchell, and the Utah Jazz blew out the Dallas Mavericks last night. Like, what the heck? Did anyone see this coming from the Utah Jazz? I don't think so. And they are a very good surprise in the NBA. You always have those feel-good stories in the NBA. I think the Utah Jazz are one of them on the West or in the West. You got the Lakers, the Clippers, but then you got Utah. Utah is sticking its head in where people don't think they belong. But Utah is playing very, very well right now. I can't wait to see them play against the Lakers and the Clippers, those juggernauts in the West, and of course Milwaukee and the Nets and Philly and Celtics in the East. I want to see those games because everybody else, they're having their fun with. Like I said, they didn't have Donovan Mitchell last night. Let's take a look at some of these stats that they had last night. Let's take a look at, see who their leading scorer was. I fell asleep on this game. I was extremely tired last night, and I fell asleep. But Joe Ingles did pass John Stockton for the all-time leading three-point record into Utah Jazz history. I think it took John Stockton a little over 1,000 games. It took Joe Ingles almost 500, like 490 something. But the game has changed. John Stockton started in 1983 or 84. Anyway, John Stockton started playing for the Jazz in 83 or 84. The three-point shot really wasn't big back then. And then, Joe Ingles, lefty, very odd-looking shot, but it goes in. He used to give OKC fits. But shout out to Joe Ingles for passing John Stockton on that all-time three-point list in Utah Jazz history. He did it in half the games that John Stockton did. All right, leading scorer for Dallas last night was Luka Doncic. Their second leading scorer was actually Jalen Brunson off the bench. Shout out to Villanova. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. He went to Villanova. Utah had a lot of balanced scoring. Check this out, guys. Bogdanovich had 32. Joe Ingles had 10. Rudy Gobert had 17 and 12. Mike Conley had 22. Jordan Clarkson, he's an early candidate for Sixth Man of the Year. I'm glad he's found a home and a role in Utah. I said that on Twitter, and also he signed an extension with Utah as well. He had 18, and Morgan had 12. So Utah had some balanced scoring. They had very much balanced scoring. They had 6 guys in double figures, and the Mavs had 1, 2. The Mavs had 5, but Utah's double figures were more, of course. It was a blowout. It was a blowout. Even though the Mavs did win the fourth quarter, and they won the second quarter, they played very well in the second quarter. At one point, I think the start of the end of the first quarter, it was 37-12. I think at one point in the second quarter, like the beginning, before the Mavs went on that run, Luka started playing very well. It was 44-14 or 44-18 or something like that. I fell asleep after halftime. As a matter of fact, I woke up and SportsCenter was on my TV. So I fell asleep. But Utah is playing very, very, very well right now. I think they're number 1 in the West because the Lakers had back-to-back losses. The Clippers lost to the Hawks. Clippers are now playing the Heat tonight. I think Utah might be number 1 in the West. Am I right? Yes, I am. At 15-4, they are number 1 in the West because the Lakers had those 2 back-to-back losses on the road. They lost to Philly, and then they lost to Detroit. Anthony Davis did not play in that Detroit game. Okay, let's look at some more action from last night. I hate when I lose my page. I really dislike when I lose my page, guys. All right, the Hornets pulled it out against the Pacers. I like the way Malcolm Brogdon is playing. I don't know if he'll get an all-star game nod. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure, but he's averaging over 22 points a game this year, playing very well for the Indiana Pacers. Remember, Victor Oladipo is now in Houston. They have Karis LeVert, but he hasn't been able to play because he just had surgery. So I want Karis LeVert to heal. I think Jeremy Lamb is back. So they give them some depth in that backcourt along with the Holiday brothers. Miles Turner's still out. I believe Miles Turner is still out, but you still got Sabonis, and he's doing his thing. But the Pacers have been playing very, very well without Victor Oladipo. Vic went to Houston. He's playing pretty well in Houston, so I think that was a pretty even trade. And that trade saved Karis LeVert's life, if you want to look at it in that perspective. But the Hornets won that game last night at home. Nick LaMelo Ball had a good game. I think P.J. Washington had a great game. If I'm not mistaken, Jeremy Lamb is back. He played 31 minutes. He had 12 points. P.J. Washington had 19. And then we had Graham with 14, Zeller with 12, Gordon Hayward only had 11, Terry Rozier had 19, LaMelo Ball had 16 off the bench. Malik Monk hasn't been playing much. Is Malik Monk lost in the shuffle on this team? I wonder if Malik Monk has been lost in the shuffle with the guards that the Hornets have. Okay, let's look at the Pacers. Sabonis had the casual 22 and 11. Miles Turner is back. He had 20. Brogdon had 21. Lamb had 12. And Holiday had 6. McDermott had 11 off the bench. That was a pretty good game. Neither of the Martin brothers played. The Martin twins, neither of them played. Monk only got 14 minutes. Biyombo only got 6 minutes. Miles Bridges got 27 minutes off the bench. Indiana is 5-3 and 11-8. 5-3 away, 11-8 overall. The Hornets are 4-5 at home and 8-11 overall. Who else last night? The Hawks and the Wizards. Let's see what Bradley Beal did last night. I know Russell Westbrook got ejected. Him and Rondo were going at it all game. That's great to see. I love when players really get into the game and really go at one another. I love watching that. I love seeing that. I think that brings out the competitive nature in basketball, and it's really, really great to see. John Collins had 17. Clint Capella had 13 and 14. He's been playing great lately. Trae Young had 41. Gallinari had 11 off the bench, and that's pretty much it. Let's see. Rui is back. Westbrook had 26 before he got ejected. Bradley Beal had 26, which is mediocre for him. 26 for Bradley Beal is mediocre. He does lead the NBA in scoring at over 30, probably about 34 a game. I think Kevin Durant is second in that category. But the Wizards got beat. They're 3-12 overall, 1-6 at home. And the Hawks got a win. They're 10-9 and 5-5 away. All right. The Knicks and the Cavaliers. Immanuel Quickley. And I know my co-host would love this so much. He's a big Kentucky guy. He's real big on Immanuel Quickley coming out of Kentucky. I'm a Tyrese Maxey fan and Immanuel Quickley fan. but he loves Immanuel Quickley. So if he watches this show, he's going to be very, very excited that I'm talking about Immanuel Quickley. And I said this on multiple occasions on Ladies First and on other shows. Immanuel Quickley needs more minutes than Elfrid Payton. It just has to happen. Immanuel Quickley has been playing very, very well for the Knicks. The Knickerbockers. It's great when New York is good at sports. It's just great. It's just something about New York sports that just bring out the best in the sports industry. And I don't know why that is. I guess you can call it Broadway sports. I don't know. When LA bases and New York bases are great at sports, it just brings it all together. The Lakers are back. The Dodgers just won a World Series. The Clippers are playing very, very well. The Rams have been playing very, very well. And it's just great. I mean, it's just great for sports, period. The Knicks have been playing very, very well. The Knicks are 9-11. It took them, I think I saw a stat, it took them 30, did it take them 30 games to win 4 games last year? Something crazy stat like that. But you got Leon Rose in there, and you got Tibbs in there. You still have Dolan as owner. But at least you have some type of direction there in New York. And I'm very pleased with the way the Knickerbockers have been playing. They've been playing very, very well. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been playing well as well. Jarrett Allen has been playing very well for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And JaVale McGee has become a point forward for the New York Knicks. I mean, not the New York Knicks, but the Cleveland Cavaliers. A point center, I guess you'd call it. You've seen highlights of him bringing the ball up the floor for the Cavaliers. Kind of odd, but that's JaVale McGee. You know, we all love him. We all love him. But he didn't play last night. So last night, Jarrett Allen had 15 points off the bench. Darius Garland had 24. Sexton had 17. For the Knicks, Julius Randle, I think he might make an all-star team. I'm not quite sure. He should be an all-star, but it's tough for those forwards in the East. It's tough because now you've added Kevin Durant to that forward list, so somebody has to come off. And then Sabonis is going to be an all-star. Joel Embiid, Giannis. If you have Jason Tatum as a forward, or if you have Jaylen Brown as a forward, that's tough because both of those guys will probably get in before Julius Randle. And that's going to be tough for him to get in. Bam. That's going to be tough for him to make an all-star game. Vucevic, which Vucevic is probably a top 5 center in the NBA, and nobody talks about Vucevic because people don't watch the Orlando Magic play. But Vucevic puts up great numbers every single season. And I think he was an all-star either last year or the year before last. But Vucevic will probably be an all-star. So that forward position is tough in the West. I mean, in the East, and in the West probably too. That forward position is tough. But he had 16 last night. RJ Barrett had 24. It's good to see him playing well. Immanuel Quickley off the bench went berserk. He had 25. Austin Rivers had 13. Austin Rivers went berserk, I think, a couple of games before that off the bench where he was 5 for 5. He had like 20 points in the first half. They ended up losing that game, I believe, because I don't think Tibbs played him that much in the second half. But, you know, it is what it is. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 9-10, 3-6 away. The Knicks are 9-11 and 4-4 at home, playing very well right now. The game of the night probably was the Kings and the Raptors. I watched highlights of this game. The Raptors lost their game by 2. They've been playing well here of late. Harrison Barnes had 26, De'Aaron Fox 24, Buddy Hield 22. Hassan Whiteside has 16 and 9 rebounds. Tyrese Haliburton been playing very, very well. I love Tyrese Haliburton. I was big on him before the draft. He's a Big 12 guy. Iowa State, they're struggling right now. They're playing right now. They're playing Mississippi State in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. And then Corey Joseph has 16. So that was the game of the night. The Kings won that by 2. Pascal Siakam had 32. Thank you, Pascal. Kyle Lowry had 17. Van Fleet had 26. Is Van Fleet an all-star? Can he make an all-star team with those guards in the East? I think he might have a possibility of making it. I'm not quite sure. Terrence Davis had 12. And that was that game. Oh, Mekhi Flynn didn't play. I wonder why he's not playing. But Pascal Siakam scored over 25 points, and that's good. I think he's starting to get his stride back. He was struggling there for a little bit. That was probably the game of the night. The Toronto Raptors are 5-5 at home, 7-12 overall. The Kings are 3-4 away, and 8-10 overall. Now we have the Bucks and the Pelicans. The Bucks were getting blown out. The Bucks were getting blown out, and they made a little comeback. Lonzo, too many ball brothers. Lonzo, B.I., which is Brandon Ingram, and Zion, all combined. Well, here's the points. Zion had 21. Steven Adams had 20 rebounds. He had 10 offensive rebounds, 10 defensive rebounds. Steven Adams went crazy on the boards. Brandon Ingram had 28. Lonzo Ball had 27. Not Drew Holiday. He plays in Milwaukee now. Eric Bledsoe had 25. They were swapped. Yes, because Eric Bledsoe was with the Bucks last year. He's with the Pelicans this year. Drew Holiday they're swapped. That's why I got them confused, guys. They're swapped. And he had 25. They went 14 for 27 from the three-point line. Lonzo and Eric Bledsoe went 14 for 27 from the three. They shot 27 threes. They shot by themselves 27 threes between the two of them. Lonzo had 13 threes. What in the heck? And Eric Bledsoe had 14 threes. That is ridiculous to think about. Oh my goodness. This is the league we're living in. This is the league we're living in, guys. Josh Hart had 15 off the bench. He only went 3 deep. Van Gundy only went 3 deep. He went with Melly, Hart, and Nikhil Alexander. So that's odd. He only went 3 deep. Let me see. For the Bucks, Giannis had 38. Middleton had 16. Lopez had 16. Holiday had 22. And DiVincenzo had 10. Yeah, that game, the Pelicans pulled that one out. The Bucks came back. They were getting blown out. They came back, like I said before. That game was 131-126. The Pelicans are 4-3 at home, 7-10 overall. The Bucks are 11-7 and 4-5 away. The Clippers and the Magic. Let's check that game out. Clippers and Magic. The Clippers won that by 26. I mean, it was over with. Kawhi Leonard had 24. Paul George had 26. Reggie Jackson had 10. Ibaka had 13 and 9. And then Morris off the bench had 13. Lou Williams. What's going on with Lou Williams? He only played 17 minutes. He went 4 for 11. He only had 9 points. What's going on with Lou Will? We got to figure that out. Terrence Ross, I think he leads the NBA in bench scoring. I'm not quite sure. I know he's top 5 in the NBA in bench scoring. He had 24 off the bench. Vujicic only had 10. And that was only 2 players in double figures. Aaron Gordon had 9. Fournier had 8. Cole Anthony had 6. So not much scoring there from the Magic. They are 4-6 at home, 8-12 overall. And the Clippers are 7-3 away and 15-5, overall. The 76ers blew out the Timberwolves. MVP candidate Joel Embiid didn't play many minutes, but had a great game. He played 27 minutes, had 37 points and 11 rebounds. Ben Simmons had 11. Seth Curry had 12. Tobias Harris had a nasty dunk, and he also hit the game winner against the Lakers the other night. He had 17. And Shake Milton, shout out to Huaso 918. He had 13. Let's look at the Timberwolves. Malik Beasley's been playing very, very well for the Timberwolves. He had 22. Anthony Edwards had 15. Russell had, D'Lo. I call him D'Lo. D'Angelo Russell had 14. Let's see. Vanderbilt, the rookie, had 11. Let me look. Two-year player, I'm sorry, out of Kentucky, he had 11. I'm looking at the rookie below him, McDaniels. Jay McDaniels had 6. Yeah, that game, It was a blowout. The 76ers are playing very well, coming off that home win against the Lakers. Like I said before, Tobias Harris hit the game winner against the Lakers. All right, my Thunder. Actually, that Boston game is on right now, guys. I'm going to go through this real quick. My OKC Thunder got beat up by the Nets, 147 to 125. All right, 147 to 125. The Nets had 3 players with 20 or more: Joe Harris, Kyrie Irving, and Harden. Bruce Brown had 19. DeAndre Jordan had 10. Shaman had 11. Cabarro had 13. Reggie Perry had 10 and 11. And Jeff Green had 11. It was bad. It was good for a while, and then it got bad for OKC. Another surprise team that people aren't really talking about, the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs. Let me give you those records for the Nets and the Thunder. The Thunder are 1-6 at home. The Thunder are winning more road games than home games. Who would have thought? 8-10 overall. The Nets are 4-4 and 13-8 overall. They're 4-4 away. The Nuggets and the Spurs. Nobody's talking about the Spurs. They're 5-5 at home, 11-8 overall. The Nuggets are 7-3 away and 11-8 overall. The Spurs won that 119 to 109. DeMar DeRozan had himself a game. DeMar DeRozan had 30. Keldon Johnson, which has been a pleasant surprise, had 19. DeJounte Murray been playing very well this year. He had 26. Patty Mills had 17. He's been playing very well this year as well. For the Nuggets, Monte Morris had 10 off the bench. Gary Harris had 11. Jamal Murray had 20. The Joker had 35. The Spurs are the most surprising team one of the most surprising teams in the NBA. I already talked about the Mavs and the Jazz. That was last night's action, guys. The Spurs and the Jazz have really surprised me in the West. Really, really surprised me in the West. In the East, the Hawks are playing well. I expected the Hawks to play well, but I didn't expect the Wizards to be this bad. I did not expect the Wizards to be this bad. So live right now, we got the Lakers and the Celtics, and I wanted to get done with this show before the game started, but I have more things I want to talk about, but this show won't be very long. Right now, the Lakers are up. Anthony Davis just hit a baseline jumper. They are up 8-5 on Boston. That game's on ESPN primetime, of course, guys. But some more action tonight. We got the Trailblazers and the Bulls, 43-44. The Trailblazers are down by 1. The Bucks and the Hornets. The Hornets are beating up on the Bucks, 33-51. The Hornets are playing at home. We got the Rockets and the Pelicans. It's a close game. They're in New Orleans. Jason Tatum just hit a 3 to tie the ball game up, 8-8. Good to see Jason Tatum get a hot start early because sometimes it takes him a while to get going. The Rockets are down 2 to the Pelicans, 44-42. The Kings and the Heat. Jimmy Butler is back. The Kings are up 38-35. Like I said before, that Lakers-Celtics game is tied 8-8. The Grizzlies are finally playing basketball again. They're up 3 on the Spurs, 11-8. The Suns and the Mavs play tonight at 8 o'clock. Can the Mavs get over that loss to the Jazz? Because they got blown out. It was just not pretty. Also, the Pistons and the Warriors. The Pistons on the little high right now. They beat the Lakers. And the Warriors, they play tonight at 9 o'clock. All right, guys, that's all of today's action. So, guys, what's going on around the league? I'll talk about it a little bit. What's going on around the league is cancellations. Well, I'll say postponements. I'll call them postponements. I won't call them cancellations. I'll say the games have been postponed because I think they're going to have a schedule where they reschedule all those games. Anthony Davis splits the free throws, and the Lakers are now up 9-8 early there in the first quarter. So I'll call them postponements. I won't call them cancellations. There's been some postponements. Teams have not been playing up to par. There haven't been many injuries. There haven't been many injuries, and I like that. Boston just scored a layup or a jump shot. I didn't get to see what they scored, but they scored a 2-point basket. And things like that, teams are not getting their rhythm. Like Miami. I don't think the Miami Heat have been healthy all year long. And that's caused them not to play as well together. Jimmy Butler has come back tonight. That's good to see. Jason Tatum tried to draw the foul on Marc Gasol right there. It didn't work. But It's good to see when teams are fully healthy, although you're not going to get that in the NBA or the NFL. You're just not going to get teams that are going to be fully healthy all the time. What's going on around the league is teams are losing. And I didn't think that the Nets would have 8 losses. I didn't think the Lakers would have 6 losses this early. I didn't think the Clippers would have 5 losses this early. Teams are being beat. Some teams are going out there with 8 players. Some teams are going out there with 4 rosters. It just seems that this NBA season is taking a toll on players mentally more so. And sometimes players are fully engaged. Sometimes they're not. Even though there's only 72 games this season, it just doesn't seem like players are like really fully engaged in the season. And when you look at it, the Lakers are up 12-10. It's a media timeout right now. And when you look at it, you want to see the best every night, but you're not going to get that every single night. It's very difficult. I know LeBron talked about it. It's very difficult to go out there and put out 100% every night when I'm playing 82 games, plus playoffs, plus the finals, more than likely for LeBron. Even though he spends that money on his body, it's kind of hard to engage every single game, but you have to try your best to put your teams in the best positions to win. So what's going on around the NBA is a lot. Mentally and physically, it's a lot. The Lakers and the Heat just got done playing in the bubble. It was a quicker turnaround for them than anyone else. I get that. I could compare that to the way WNBA players play, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't want people upset with me. But the WNBA, they have maybe a week off and then they have to go play overseas. They come back from overseas. They might have a week off and they got to go play. They got to get ready for training camp for the WNBA. And the cycle continues. They might have 2 weeks off max. That's max. So they play out of 12 months out the year. WNBA players probably play 11 of those. If you look at it, they take a break. That's why a lot of WNBA players are finding things to do outside of basketball, like commentating and social justice issues and things like that, because it's a grind. And players like, we only had 71 days in between. I'm like, they have a week. And mind you, that flight overseas is about 14, 15, 16 hours. They get off the plane, they have to go to training camp right away. Or they have to go to their country and play in the game probably in 2 days. And they have to get their housing together, food, it's a lot. It is a lot for them. So when NBA players say what they say, I kind of laugh at it because WNBA players probably laugh at it too. Like, do you know that we have maybe a couple of days and we have to play again? And then we come back and have to come to training camp, come to 2 days in the WNBA. That's why they take those breaks. I appreciate that. But I do understand where male players are coming from because they're not used to it. WNBA players are used to that grind. WNBA players are always grinding. Yes, Perry, they are. Thank you for watching the show. I appreciate the support, of course. But it takes a toll on their bodies. Now, I'll get off of that subject and I'll go back to the NBA. The Lakers and the Heat had the shortest rest period. Lakers look fully engaged. They had 2 games away. They were 10-0 on the road, and they lost 2 back-to-back games on the road. Okay. The Heat haven't been healthy due to COVID, due to injuries all year long. Can we blame it on the bubble? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? These other teams, like, that didn't go to the bubble, the Hornets, the Bulls, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, teams like that have had since March off. So how does that affect them? How does that long layoff affect those players? And that's what's going on around the league. Teams are losing. You're not going to get, I had predictions, of course, like everyone had predictions about records, what I thought people's records would be. I'm not even close. I'm not even close. So sometimes your predictions are right. Sometimes they're wrong. I'm not even close on my records prediction. I didn't think the Lakers would be 14-6 right now. 6 losses. Not 20 games into the season. This is their 21st game. I didn't think the Celtics would be 10-7. 10-7. I'm gonna say 10-17. They're not 10-17. But I didn't think the Lakers would be, the Celtics would be 10-7. I didn't think that. Not in 17 games in? No. Kemba has just come back, so he's working his way back, and I understand that. But I didn't think that. I mean, who thought that? Who really thought that? So that's what's going on, guys. I think that if we get the second half of the season, because that schedule has not been released yet by Adam Silver, teams will kind of catch their stride in the second half. I think it's going to take the second half of games, those last 20, probably those last 30 games, teams will probably catch their stride. But when you look at the standings, it's all jumbled up. 1 through 8 in the East, you got 14 and 6, 13 and 8, 11 and 7, 10 and 7, 11 and 8, 10 and 9, 9 and 10, and 9 and 11. That's the East standings. In the West, you got 15 and 4, 15 and 5, 14 and 6, 11 and 8, 11 and 8, 7 and 6, 9 and 8, 9 and 8. That's the West. The team with the least wins in the West is the Timberwolves. They have 4. The team with the least wins in the East is Washington. They have 3. But you have teams with 8 wins, 7 wins, all jumbled up at the bottom. And in the East, you have teams with 7, 8, 6, and 5 wins, all jumbled up at the bottom. I didn't think it would be like that. We will see separation. Like I said, after probably the first 40 games, I think those last 30, you'll probably see some separation. I think players will start playing back-to-backs. I don't know how many back-to-backs Adam Silver is going to schedule towards the back half of the season, but we'll look forward to that, and we'll see what's going to go on with that. All right, just a little bit of news around the NBA. Iman Shumpert signed with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm happy for Iman Shumpert. He signed with them last year, played very well for Brooklyn last year. They need depth. They need defense. Iman Shumpert can knock down shots. He has championship experience. That's a great signing. I put that on Twitter. I think that's a pretty good signing for the Brooklyn Nets. Also, I talked about this before. Jimmy Butler is back. He's playing tonight. Shout out to Jimmy Butler for finally coming back. He hasn't played in 10 games, and Miami Heat need his leadership bad. Whew. All right, guys, we got some news that was very sad that came in, and it happened on back-to-back days. So we lost Cicely Tyson. We lost Sekou Smith, and I know Aaron just interviewed him, so that touched close to home for him. We lost John Chaney. Just so many pioneers. Cicely Tyson, I just got done watching her on How to Get Away with Murder. And she's been doing it for 60 plus years. She started her acting career when she was 30. She's been doing it a very long time. She's been doing it longer than my mom's been alive. So Cicely Tyson, rest in peace. I know that's not sports related, but I just want to get that out there. Also Sekou Smith, I watch him a lot on NBA TV. Very bright personality. Yes, 2021 is killing us, Perry. It really is. Bright personality. Loved watching him on NBA TV. I watched the interview. I listened to the interview he did with Aaron. It was a great interview. Aaron Washington of the Unwrapped Sports Network. And everybody has said nothing but positive things about him. And that was tough. He lost his life due to COVID. I could go on and on about COVID and sports, and it's a lot you could say about COVID, but it's out there, guys, and it is killing people. It is killing people. So, guys, just be careful, be safe. And I'm going to miss watching him on NBA TV. They did a nice tribute to him around the league, and I really appreciated that, especially the Atlanta Hawks. They did a very nice tribute to him. Also, John Chaney. Seems like John Chaney's been living forever. John Chaney has been around forever. I remember watching him coach when I was a kid. John Chaney has done a lot for the African-American community, or the Black community, as I like to call it, the Black community, when it comes to college basketball. And I appreciated his coaching style. I appreciated him. That was tough. That was tough. And it is tough to watch people you've been watching for a long time, or people you just started watching, pass away. And death hits you differently. So the NBA community mourned Sekou Smith, and then the NBA and the college community mourned John Chaney. back-to-back days. Or I want to say Cheney passed away on the 29th. I don't say Kuz passed away. He had passed away a couple of days before that. He passed away. So that was tough. That was tough for the basketball community. And I want to just say prayers for both of their families. And just keep those families in your prayers. Guys, stay safe out there. It's a lot going on out here in the world today. Not just COVID, but with everything going on. And life is so precious. And we take life for granted sometimes, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't take life for granted, and we do. I want to do a preview to the Lakers-Celtics game, but the Lakers-Celtics game started at 7:30, which usually doesn't happen. It usually starts at like 7:37 or 7:40. But so I didn't have time to do a preview to the Lakers and Celtics game. That game is on right now. The Lakers are up 19-15. I'm going to go watch the game. Don't forget, I'm coming back. And I'm going to have some guests with me. I'm coming back, and we're going to talk about the Lakers and Celtics game. The Unwrapped Sports Network has a lot of Lakers fans. Let me tell you, we have a lot of Lakers fans. So we also have Celtics fans as well. So if you're part of the Unwrapped Sports Network and you're watching this and you have time, I think we're going to do around 10 p.m. my time, 11 Eastern and 8 Pacific. And you want to come on and talk basketball for about 45 minutes to an hour. It won't be longer than that, Lakers fans. Don't go on a rampage. I know when you Lakers fans get on broadcast, you guys go in. I love it. But a woman needs her beauty sleep, okay, guys? I need my beauty rest. So we'll go at it for about 45 minutes to an hour, a panel of your favorite Unwrapped Sports Network guests. And we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun with that. I can't wait to recap games. I'm going to start doing more things with this. Andrew and I are. We're working on our apparel right now. They're texting me right now. We're working on our apparel so we can get that out to you guys and show you guys our new apparel. If you watch Ladies First, I have apparel for Ladies First. I'm waiting on my shirt to come in, my mug. I just washed my mug last night through the dishwasher. It is sparkly and clean, so I'll be drinking my water out of my mug and wearing my Unwrapped apparel. That's Ladies First. But I really appreciate the support. Andrew and I appreciate the support. I'm sorry I couldn't have him with me tonight, but I will have him with me on Friday night when we come back here on Count the Bucket. All right, guys, let me pay some bills before I get off of here. teespring.com/store/unwrapped. Get all your Unwrapped Sports Network gear there. Count the Bucket's going to have gear pretty soon. Ladies First has gear. All the live lineups have gear. Also, mybookie.ag. Corey and Alex went Bets Unwrapped. They just went live about an hour ago. Guys, go check that out on the YouTube channel, on Unwrapped Sports Network YouTube channel. Get your betting needs. Alex and Corey will be on this show sometime. Corey said he wants to come on Ladies First to talk about all your betting needs on that show as well. So we're gonna get you guys winning some money, and you can use the code USN100 to double your first deposit up to $1,000. RxHemp.com. Perry, you're gonna need some CBD cream pretty soon, because if it drops below 50 in LA, you guys are gonna lose your minds. If you live in Vegas, it likes to snow in Vegas apparently. So get you some CBD cream from RxHemp.com. Use the code RxHemp/USN and get 10% off your order. Okay, guys, that's it for Count the Bucket tonight. I miss my co-host. I really do. But he'll be back next week. Follow me on Twitter at simplyme_AV. Let me take this off so you guys can see. At simplyme_AV. Follow the network as well at Unwrapped Sports and at Hoops USN. We got some good content coming for you guys from the hoop side. Caleb and I are going to get together this weekend. College basketball. Can't wait. The G League bubble starts in February. I cannot wait. And then the draft comes up, sometime this year. I can't wait for that as well. But I'm super excited to do more basketball content for you guys. Andrew's excited as well on the college side. Even though his Kentucky Wildcats are not playing the best right now, he can come on this show and let his frustrations out as my co-host. And I'll allow for him to have that space because he needs it. My Sooners beat one of the best teams in the country right now. They beat one of the best teams in the country right now this morning. I was super excited to see that. And we were missing some of our two best players. And they won that game at home. The Big 12, the SEC Challenge happened today. Baylor, as expected, ran through Auburn in the second half, locked up on defense, and Scott Drew got the win for Baylor. Hello, dear. Well, hello, Khalid99Z. But I'm ending the show right now, guys. I just want to tell you a little college news. I just wanted to brag on my Sooners a little bit and brag on the Big 12 a little bit. I'm ending the show right now, guys. I'll be back here in about 2 hours after this Lakers-Celtics game, and we're going to do a live broadcast. So you guys stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next week.